Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I gotta confess, some quote unquote prejudices or maybe overcaution that I held that I'm trying to get over this Pride Month. I have a difficult time, and this is not hate based, but I have a difficult time with Hispanics, especially at the workplace. You got an office that has a lot of Hispanics, and there seems to be more Spanish than English being spoken in the office. And it feels like that your desires in the office are not being heard equally, right? So I worked with a number of Hispanics, and not to mention, I would imagine there's a lot less LGBTQ people amongst Hispanics. So that's a double whammy for me, right? They're in their own groups, they're with their family lives, speaking Spanish, and when I want any sort of vacation or some other request, they don't hear me out, right? So that's a big problem, especially older Hispanic people. There's nothing more scary than me on my first day of work, and this is not hate based. There's nothing more scary than me on my first day of work. I go to the office, and my boss is a 65-year-old Hispanic, and a bunch of my coworkers are also. There's nothing that could instill more fear to me than that, because that means that anything I say is just going to flow right off of their backs, and that's exactly what happened at my last job. To give you an idea of how badly things went at my last job, my boss stopped communicating with me and left me to fend for myself with the students. I worked at a tutoring center, and during the Christmas week, I so badly wanted to take a break, especially because I was only going to get 5, 6 hours of work anyway. And I was trying to negotiate that myself with the students because, again, the boss, he pretty much shut down in terms of communicating with me. It doesn't help that sometimes there's a little bit of language barriers. And when I tried to email him, half the time he either didn't respond or he responded off in a tangent. And so it would go to my students. Now I had one student, a high school girl. I think she was in her freshman year, and she was already studying some pre-algebra kind of stuff, really advanced for her grade level. Now she has extended family in Germany, and I thought the whole family was going to go to Germany. She had talked about it, and so the last week of before or 2 weeks before the Christmas break, she informed me that her family really liked her working with me, and they actually canceled the trip. And I thought I tried to nudge her back into the trip. I was like, I think you need a break. You're doing very well, to no avail. And so I went to the bathroom and I cried over this. And then some other students I couldn't talk out of coming either. And so I just have this big fear that's been instilled in me. I cannot negotiate with Hispanics. I cannot negotiate with Hispanics, to the point that I just stopped even trying altogether until I go to a board game meetup, and there's a Hispanic girl there that was interested in me, and I thought, okay, nothing to lose here. If I mess up here, it's not going to affect my career. So I decided to give it a try, and it didn't turn out too badly, actually. And I hope to normalize my relationship with these people, because I might have to work with them again at some point. I definitely have to deal with them in the broader community. And so maybe I should learn to speak Spanish as well. That might help break some of those those tensions, right? But I lost that job at the tutoring center, actually, because I got so fed up with not being able to communicate anybody. Eventually, I started to really make a lot of noise every time I wanted to bring something up to my boss, to my coworkers, and I started giving up quote unquote obscene gestures, is what my boss said in the write up for this. And I'm glad I'm out of there, though. But it just goes to show the divide that I sometimes run into with certain groups of people. And it doesn't help that most of the office was straight either. Eventually, we did have another one, another LGBTQ join us, and that did help break the ice a little bit. But yeah, yeah, and I need to figure this out. So hopefully, uh, I'll start dating a Hispanic girl. The girl that I made the move on at the board game meetup was taken, but she has a circle of friends. When I was a kid, my mom had a big problem with me dating another girls from another area of the world, and that I probably will not marry somebody from that part of the world. But it was great that I did that because I lost my fear in dealing with those people. And I need to do that with Hispanics now that I live in Phoenix and I have to run into them all the time, right? This is the Peter Discrimination Show. Bum, 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 bum.